Here we go. We got a lot of old candy, which is my bread and butter, buying these old lots of candy. It's the best way to buy them. However, the best way to sell is individually. So I buy a lot of these dealer lots, basically. Or that's what I call them. All right, here's what it looks like. There's a lot to go through. Or, medium size. And this is someone's collection. I mean, this is, to this person who had this all these years, this is what their collection looked like. And probably to them, it was really, really large, right? They're like, look at all this stuff. And everyone that went to their house was like, look at all this stuff. Not knowing that out there's people that have entire storage areas full of this stuff. So I didn't have this one. What this is, let me get some information off of it, just so I'm not, so I don't make a mistake. Okay, so it says Slathers 1988. That's really cool. Slathers is just a brand that repackages candy for like gas stations back in the day. You might even remember this brand. I'm talking about the brand of the repackers. Now, these were made by the CD company, or it could be Tom's Foods. It doesn't say on here. Both those companies were using roughly the same sculpts to package candy powder. But it's really cool. I've never even seen one of these bulk bags before with those inside. Okay, now I was after some things in here for myself, and the rest I sell in my store. So we come to one that I was after. This is a Melody. It says Chups, but Melody Pops. This is a real one, a vintage one from the 80s. So fucking cool. I do have a few from the 80s. They're extremely rare. Lollipops are rare. Any lollipop is rare if it's from the 70s or 80s. But this is a absolute classic. This made it all worthwhile for me personally. So that will stay with me. This little guy, I get these in occasionally. These were marketed by Alan Mitchell, which is a company that falls into the group of like Alberts and B International. These conglomerates that buy these sculpts from overseas, like China, and they put their own candy in there, usually generic candy, and then they market them. And speaking of novelty candy, I mean, this literally is a toy, you know what I mean? So, pretty cool. Next is an all-time classic. What I'm noticing right off is everything is sealed. So I didn't actually know that about this lot, especially about these. So, yeah, this is a sealed Chew Fun from 1985. Let's confirm that. 1985, made to look like a Chinese takeout container. Next up is a classic. Now, this is odd. This one feels half full. And let me confirm something. Yeah, so that's very odd. This one's been opened. So, hopefully that's an oddball. But yeah, these are classic. Pretty valuable in the candy world. All right. Next up, this is made by Leaf. These are fruit baskets made to look like what you'd buy at a grocery store. Raspberry Patch is this particular one. So you're calling these raspberries. But these are bubble gums, so really cute. The date on these are usually mid-80s. Next up is a Valentine's Day release for Fleer Mailbox. I showed you the other day the yellow and the blue, which are pretty scarce because those are the first run ones. Well, these are the ones that came after, and they're really common. Next up, a lot of people fondly remember these. These are called Fleer gum machines. This one's full. It also happens to have Christmas colors and a Christmas color base. So this is from the Christmas release. Next up is a 1982 Sundae Cone by Tops. This happens to be the vanilla with the chocolate topping. To my knowledge, there's 6 variants. Or 8. It's one of those. In fact, right when I said 6, I'm like, wait, there's probably 8. Yeah, there's probably 8 of them. All right, next up is a 1991 Bingo. Well, I call them dog dish candies. That's the coolest thing about them for sure, is having kids eat out of a dog dish is pretty rad. But you know, that's why we love Tops, right? But unfortunately, they put this stupid bingo advertisement on it for the movie. And so every time you find one of these, it's going to have the bingo marketing. They didn't make another dog bowl one with just, you know, that didn't have the stupid movie stuff on it. By the way, there's 4 types. There's 4 base colors. And as far as the different labels, there's a bunch of them. I'm thinking 12. Next up is, this could be E. Rosen or Alan Mitchell, but due to the date of this bag, this is going to definitely be the Alan Mitchell Cowboy Pistol Candy full. Yeah, these sell usually for $24, just by the way, so nothing to scoff at. Next up is a full. It's been open. Yeah, I was showing you guys this the other day. I was trying to tell you about it. Yeah, so this is what the gumballs look like. They're yellow, and they have a parody. Well, actually, these aren't parodies. This actually says passing shot. So these are real terms from tennis, net shot. But anyway, this is a parody where they took a brand and they changed it to Winsome. Next up is a 1981, but this one looks newer to me. This looks like one of the ones from the 90s, but there's no way to tell because they all say 91 on the bottom. They either say they all say 81 on the bottom. If they don't say 81, they say nothing. This is either blank or it has the copyright. This one has the copyright. So they're very hard to date. The only exception is sometimes on the label they change dates as they went down the decades, but this one's a generic one. This is called Big Blast. It says it right there, Big Blast from Fleer. Nice vintage Woolworth price sticker. A lot of the things I forget to say about this is it's a whistle. You actually blow into it, which is in keeping with the music theme. Also, another thing is inside there's stickers that a lot of people don't know about because it doesn't advertise anything about stickers on it. You would have to open it to know that. Next up is a 1990 Lenny Sells egg novelty carton. Kind of random, but they made a bunch of these. This happens to be one of the best ones. This is the Hawaii one, gecko eggs. But they made mosquito eggs. They made just random ones that, like animals that don't even produce eggs, which is very odd. But this is a really good one, great condition. This might be better than the one I have in the collection, so I'll swap it out and sell whichever one's subpar. Next up is, this one's a good one. This is obviously a Fleer Chug-a-Lug can, but it's a green beans package. I really like this one. In fact, I don't think I've ever held this one before. I'm not sure what series this is from. I might actually keep that one because it looks exactly like a green beans can. Here's another one of those Fleer gum machines, but in yellow. Notice the Christmas one has Christmas color balls and Christmas color base, and the regular ones have just multiple colors. Now there is an Easter release, but I don't think this is it because the Easter release, I don't think has orange balls in them. They have like pastel colors. This is my all-time favorite candy container. It happens to be full. I can tell you by the base, this is from 1981. This is a Series 3. Now, all this Series 3 talk is something I invented way years ago when I was archiving all the garbage candy cans. Next up is a 1991 Blazing Skates, I believe they're called. Super cool, but super common. They made a ton of these, and a lot of people really loved them. So there's a bunch of them out there, but this one is sealed. This one also has a lanyard function. I don't know if I remember seeing a lanyard function on these before. Wait a minute. Have we seen that before? Have we seen a lanyard loop on it? This might actually be a pretty special one. I'm going to put that to the side. It might be a variant I've never seen before. We got these. These are both by Fleer. This is Bed Bugs, made to look like a child's bed. Very comforting, right? It covers turn back. Come get in bed. But when you open it, and since this is from the 80s, there's got to be something vile about it. And there is. It's full of bed bugs. But this is 1984's. Well, it's from 1978 to just the 80s, but the core date is 84 for these. But this is Fleer Bed Bugs. Next is Fleer Phony Phones, made to look like a pay phone from a gas station. And it's full of Valentine's hearts that say, call me, pinch me, kiss me. Next up is one that I was after. It's another one of those Melanie Pops. This pulls out like a trombone. And when you're, eating this, you can whistle at different pitches as you pull this piece out. And as you blow through the whistle part, it'll change the pitch of it. My daughter and I have actually got Melody Pops before. They call different things, and we've actually made songs with them in the car before. Good memories. Next up is a Fleer Fire Plug. What a lot of people don't know about these is what the candy looks like. So these are full, so I'll get to show you. They're filled with little dogs, because dogs pee on fire hydrants, right? So that was cool. Like I was saying before, all these, they had to have an edge to them because it was the shocking 80s. And so Fire Plug, as wholesome as a fire plug is, and, kind of cute, inside are the dogs that are pissing on it, right? Next up is another one of those crazy can Chug-a-Lugs. Yeah, so what I'm noticing, this isn't from the Chug-a-Lug line. I knew that because Chug-a-Lug is for the beer theme ones. But this is for another offshoot they made. It's called Crazy Can. They use the same sculpts, the same can shapes, and same colors, same everything. But they made them into food items. So, yeah, that's really cool. I got this one the other day. You might remember me pulling that. But, yeah, I've never actually held that one before. Got 4 more things. I'm just going to pull them all out. Here's another one of those Sunday cones, they're called. They're made by Tops from 1982. But they re-released them in the 90s. Now notice there's a vast difference in color here. That's very uncommon. So I'm going to have to look at that later. Now I've definitely run across, well, what's rare is the yellow ones, the yellow cones. You run across them, but I can't remember running across a mint one that looks that good condition. So I always figured they were faded ones. So yeah, I've got some mysteries on my hand over here. That's awesome. I was not expecting that. This is a rare one. It was made in Malaysia, of all places. We know a lot of these were outsourced to China. They're made in China, but this one was actually from Malaysia. I can get you in there close. Yep. What's really sad is, remember that Malaysian airline that went down into the ocean and no one ever found it? They actually have a Malaysian airplane from the 80s. That's tragic. Anyway, so yeah, this is the root beer one. No, this is the chocolate one. So yeah, there's 4 variants. They look very similar, by the way. They have just different graphics on each one. This happens to be the chocolate milk one. I was thinking it was the root beer. The root beer has a brown little graphic right here that looks almost identical. But very rare. You never get these in. There's no value here. $15 at the most. I mean, it's sealed. It's museum quality, if you want to call it that, but cool to see. This is exactly from the same place. This is going to be a Malaysian sipper, we call these. We call these different things. They're usually called sips or sippers. Yeah, it says it right there, sip. Now, I'm not just talking about this. I'm talking about there's other companies that made candy sipper from that genre. And all it is, it's candy powder that you slurp up in some sort of way. It usually comes with a straw. They don't always even come with straws. It's just designed for kids to slurp it or sip it. So, and that falls in that category. I don't think I've ever seen this gold straw before. The small pleasures in life, little variants that are out there. Yeah, I've never seen that gold straw before. I probably will say that I'm just OCD in that regard. Orange, you don't see a lot of the orange ones. They're definitely scarce, and this one is pristine mint. Has an old Ben Franklin price sticker with 1984 on it, particularly July of 84, so that's super cool. You know, as a candy collector, you're always just trying to find any information on these things, because they weren't always good. You know, nowadays you have to put expiration dates and all this other information. But back in the fucking 80s, you know, it was a wild west. And just think about it, and I'll end on this note. You know, back when we were kids, we would pick these up in the store. They were not sealed. This is what sealed looks like. There's no cellophane wrapper, and you could literally, like I'm doing right now, you could be in the gas station. No, I didn't do this. And pour out some, or play with them and close it back down, and that would still be considered sealed, and you wouldn't know it. But nowadays, of course, in our era, everything is, you know, packaged 2 times or whatever, with warnings on them and all this stuff. But yeah, well, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick little review. This little thing I found yesterday in the gas station. Thankfully, my gas station up the road has started to sell some of the Mexican ones, the Mexican ones by the brand Lucas, who've been around since, I think, the 70s even, or 80s. But this is something new they came out with. They're calling this spaghetti. So cool. Anyway, back to this. So yeah, just got this lot in. Most everything dates from the mid to early 90s. There's not much 90s in here, but there was some. I'll show you that real quick. So that was 90s. That was the wee bit of the 90s. And about everything else, yeah, everything else was 80s. So really cool. So what I'm keeping is definitely these 2 extremely rare melody pops. Music pops, whistle pops. They go by different names, but these are the 80s ones. Extremely rare. How many times am I going to say that? Drink every time I say rare. Drink. Take a shot. Yeah, sorry, I'm bad about that. Found these 2 variants of Sunday cones that are in different color cones. You don't see that yellow one very much, and so I'm going to do a little background, little backtrack check on that. Oh, and wait, where was it? Yeah, and this has a loop on it, and I swear I don't remember that. But there's a chance that they all come with that, but I just don't remember it. And you see the rest. The best things in here, value-wise, this is the tip-top, most valuable, but this one's open, so these are pretty valuable. These are about $50. These are $25. These are around $25. The rest are pretty much lower level. This sometimes sells pretty good, but the rest is kind of lower level, kind of vanilla level candy containers. But anyway, I'm blabbering. Well, hope you enjoyed that, guys. And hopefully I'll get some more stuff in soon. And Russ Fan out. What are we going to look at real quick? Yeah, these one more time. Wow.